The Oracle Network.
Matt, did you bring headphones?
Whoa.
Shit.
Whoa.
I'll go back. I live half a mile away.
One of us could not wear them. And not have asked as well.
I don't know. I don't care. This would be like a 5-minute round trip.
I mean, if you want.
No one cares. Why am I even here if no one cares?
If you want to feel profesh and wear headphones.
Well, he can wear mine.
Yeah, you can wear one of ours. I don't care.
Those are girls.
They're small and delicate for girl ears.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey friends.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shawna.
And this is Anxious.
And Afraid.
So Afraid, and we're a podcast.
Where we talk into microphones.
About scary stuff.
And afraid stuff.
Yep. So welcome if it's your first time. And welcome back if it's not. And we have something special today.
We're twisting it up.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we have a guest.
Our first, kind of return guest.
Our first return.
With a new story.
Repeat offender.
Yeah.
And his name is Matt.
Who told you my name?
He is back.
How'd you get a hold of me?
He is back. Your episode actually did really well. You have a great radio voice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. The Halloween episode.
It was the Halloween episode. You guys remember?
Yes.
Yeah. And we recorded that episode. That was the last episode we recorded at your old house.
Right. So now we're in a different recording area. So how do you feel about that?
You know, the vibes are different. You know, the chakras are kind of colliding still. It's coming together, though.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It looks professional, though.
It's a work in progress.
It's pretty cool.
Working on the vibe.
Glad I could give you guys the bump to really move into a new space.
Yeah, it was you. It was fully you. We were like, we gotta change because we didn't impress Matt enough.
Right.
And he's not impressing us right now because he just knocked something over. It's fine.
For shame.
Anger.
Furious. Well, I guess we don't need to talk about how we know you because everyone remembers you, I'm sure.
We already know you.
Hopefully, if you haven't, go back and listen to the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
It's tons of fun. You learn about Halloween and crime.
And crime. And kids doing shenanigans. And,
Tomfoolery.
Yeah.
And witchcraft.
But you have, I assume, something different for us today.
I've got something a little different. I had a bigger topic in mind.
Ooh.
But it was hard to source properly, so I decided to narrow it down.
Okay.
It's going to start a little bit just like a missing persons case.
All right.
Okay.
But then it gets blown wide open.
Whoa.
Love it.
There's government agencies involved.
Love.
There's
Juicy.
conspiracies all the way to the top.
All the way to the...
Goes all the way to the top.
Oh, it's our favorite kind of, material.
I don't care who's at the top, but I'm getting to the bottom of it.
Nice.
So, we're going to talk about the disappearance of Dennis Martin.
Dennis Martin.
Dennis Martin.
Not ringing any bells for me. Will you?
No.
Which is a shame. But hopefully everyone will know the name Dennis Martin when I'm done.
I'll get a t-shirt with his fucking name on it.
This story, it's kind of intertwined with our national park system.
Okay.
Because he disappeared from Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Okay.
What national parks have we all been to?
Well, I've only been to Crater Lake, I think.
God.
Definitely Crater Lake.
It's the most dangerous one.
It is. There's some scary deaths that happen there.
I made a friend with a dragonfly at Crater Lake.
Oh.
It hung out on my finger.
Right on.
You're so one with nature, little princess.
Princesses are not... Well, maybe they are. I don't know. Yeah, I had a friend. So I had a good experience at Crater Lake. I don't know. It was really pretty.
Yeah, I mean, Crater Lake's beautiful. But, I can't really think of anything else.
Did either of you...
Wait, I've been to the Redwood Forest.
Vanish without a trace
Redwoods.
Huh?
there? Okay, just checking.
We're talking over you.
I'm still here. I did not vanish.
Yeah.
Are the Redwood... Is that a national park? That's got to be a national park.
Yeah, Upper California, right?
Possibly.
I'm sure it
Has
is.
been there.
Otherwise, people would be cutting it down.
I'm sure someone's disappeared from there, too.
Oh,
for sure.
likely. I feel like there's been so many disappearances at national parks. It's a thing.
There have been.
Oh,
Very much
boy. Here we go.
Okay, ready
There's
for
a glint in his eye.
Mm-hmm.
So where's this national park at?
This one, Great Smoky Mountains, is in the Appalachians. So it's kind of right on the border of Tennessee.
Okay.
And a lot of people have disappeared from there. But we're going to talk about young Dennis Martin. He was 6 years old, and he disappeared June 14th, 1969.
Little.
Nice.
I was going to say, Michael's going to... 69. Okay, Dennis Martin. That's younger than I thought.
Okay, 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, I was picturing a grown man.
Because Dennis is the name of a grown man.
Well, it was the 60s. You could get away with names like Ed or Bert or
Yeah.
Gunt. I don't know, whatever kids were
Gunt!
named back then.
Oh, that would be so unfortunate.
Gunt.
So, yeah, Dennis, he was on a vacation with his family. It was Dennis Martin. It was his father, William, a grandfather, Clyde, and Dennis's older brother, Doug, who was 7. Again, Doug just seems like a weird
Doug.
name for a child, but
My dad's name is Dennis. So I get it.
they'd all been there before. These were an outdoorsy family. They went to the Great Smoky National Park every year. It was kind of like their family thing. They would usually do it for Father's Day.
Sure.
It was Dennis's first time there, however, because he was young. So the night before, they'd spent the night at a cabin, and the following day, June 14th, they made their way to a place called Spence Field. Spence Field is this big, open, grassy field, kind of at the top of a hill, like a little bald hill. There's shrubs here and there. It almost abuts the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
It's not a super remote place. So they get up there. Coincidentally, they meet another family also named the Martins while they're there. Ookie, right?
That is.
Actually, I wrote Ookie in the notes.
Ookie. The ookiest.
But this is a normal day like any other. The Martin boys are playing with the other Martin boys.
Yes.
They're playing hide and seek. They're jumping out, trying to scare each other. So about 3 p.m., William Martin, Dennis's father, is watching them play hide and seek, and he sees Dennis, bright red shirt, hard to miss, go behind a bush. This bush, William said, was less than 50 feet away from him. It's just a bush right there, and he sees him hide behind it.
Okay.
And he doesn't think anything of it, but he's watching this whole time. Eventually, the other kids come in, but Dennis doesn't. So Mr. Martin calls for him. He doesn't come out. So he walks over to the bush, just expecting Dennis to pop out, scare him like he'd been doing all day. But he gets to the bush, and he is gone. He looks around. He can't see Dennis. He starts yelling for the other boys, "Hey, where's Dennis? Where's Dennis?" No one has seen him. Dennis's grandfather, Clyde, hears this, comes over to see what's going on. His father explains to him, Dennis is missing. Go tell the park ranger. So the grandfather heads off down towards the ranger station.
There's like worst nightmare for a parent.
At this point, Mr. Martin, he's ex-military. He's in great shape.
Oh, okay.
He looks for what looks like the path of least resistance away from there into the trees behind the shrub, and he runs. He runs for 2 miles.
Whoa.
Calling, until he's convinced he's gone further than anyone could have,
Any child.
carried him, or a child could have gone in that time. And he runs back. At this point, he gets back. The park rangers show up. They're scouring this field. They're looking behind every shrub. They've got people calling out for him. They can't find him. They're searching for hours.
And he's wearing bright red too, so
Bright red should be very
visible.
hard to miss. About 8:30 at night, it starts to rain. It starts to rain hard, and it doesn't stop raining for about 2 weeks.
Oh no.
It slows down the search.
What
But
month was this? I'm sorry? What month was this?
this was in June.
Okay, so summertime.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Start of.
Mr. Martin doesn't leave this park for 12 days.
Oh.
He's a dedicated father.
Yeah.
And then his son has just disappeared, and then so he's kind of freaking out. So the next day, June 15th, the park rangers start calling in other people to help. There were 30 Boy Scouts nearby.
Oh.
Bring in the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts are here to help.
Gather them up.
There was a class of ranger students, 51 of them, on a field trip.
Wow.
They call them over to help as well.
Okay.
So they're getting everybody in there. The Parks Department requests a helicopter
Yeah, get
for
it.
this. And they request it from Regional Chief of Visitor Protection, Tony Stark.
Shut the fuck up.
His name was Tony Stark.
Stop it.
It's not relevant anywhere else, but it amused me so much. Yeah, Tony Stark sent the helicopter. And it seems like kind of a typical search and rescue. This boy's missing. They're doing whatever they can to find him. But again, we're less than 24 hours from a boy going missing. And this is when things escalate. Because Army Special Forces arrive. Green Berets from Fort Benning in Georgia.
Wow.
40 of them.
Wow.
And 40 more show up over the rest of the week.
Green Berets, like, is that normal?
No.
Did the daddy call in some favors?
No, and one of the park rangers, his name was Dwight McCarter. He noted that National Guard have shown up to
Yeah.
help with search and rescue before, but they were never armed.
Yeah.
The Green Berets are armed.
Those guys are like business.
They have their own camp that they set up. They operate on their own radio frequencies. They're not communicating with the park rangers.
No girls allowed, I bet.
But now there are special forces here.
Wow. That's intense.
Why would special forces show up for a missing boy?
Yeah.
Truth.
Well, it keeps going from there.
This is weird.
So the next day, we're on to June 16th,
Okay.
48 hours. This is when grid searches begin. There's enough people, they start gridding out the territory. They're walking lines. Air National Guardsmen arrive from Tennessee, 17 of them. They set up a helipad nearby. And at this point, there are 300 people on the scene searching for this boy at this one park.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
It gets more intense. So that's the 16th. We skip ahead 2 days. We're on June 18th. There are now 800 people here.
Stop it! That's
People
so
are
many.
being brought in from everywhere
Intense.
to engage in this search. Park rangers are bringing in search and rescue from everywhere else. There's some volunteers showing up. June 18th is... Okay, that was, June 18th. Yeah, there was an article I found in the Rock Hill Herald from the 20th that described the searches. It said it can be compared to a military operation, complete with headquarters, commanding general, squad leaders, a mass of privates. It seems a lot bigger than a normal search and rescue operation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Why?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like the Ruby Ridge episode I did when they just had like an entire like military command. It was just insane.
Yeah.
Like, why are you using these resources?
Yeah, imagine if Ruby Ridge was just, there was one 6-year-old
One
in the
boy.
building. Though.
Yeah.
Right.
It's I mean, yes, you want to find the boy, but like I don't think I've ever heard of this scale for a kid.
And it keeps ramping up.
Damn.
The 21st is when the most people are present, and there are 1,400 people on the scene at this point. Looking for Dennis Martin on, sadly, what would have been his 7th birthday.
Oh, sad. Poor kid.
Yeah, so just 7 days, just a week after, there's over 1,000 people looking for him. Green Berets, Army Guard, everybody. They're doing the grid searches, but then they start to suspect maybe animal predation. So now they're testing all the bear and cougar and boar droppings to see if, there's fibers or anything like that in there. Because at this point, they've found nothing. No
clothes,
tracks,
nothing.
footprints, clothing, not a thing.
It's a terrible job just saying the person that has to go around
Oh,
collecting all the animal
there was one worse job. They were
no.
checking the pit toilets at the park as well.
that is worse.
Which, from what I was seeing, they would put one of the searchers in waders and lower them into the vault of each toilet.
Get out.
And they would just stomp around trying to see if there was anything at the
You're
bottom.
disgusting. Oh my god. Ew, 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 ew.
Yeah, I didn't do it. They did it.
You're disgusting.
I'm blaming you.
And there's nothing.
Wow.
It's like he's just
Vanished.
vanished.
Yeah, because how far could he get on his own?
Yeah, a little 6-year-old can't move very far.
You would think something abducted him. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
This is where another family gets involved.
Was it the other one with the same last name?
It wasn't the other Martins. This one actually, because it cracks open this case, it's more ominous. This is the Key family.
Key.
Key family.
They have the key. They are the key.
So, Harold Key was out with his wife and their son. They were visiting
It's such a name.
Harold Key.
It's fun.
They were visiting a place called Cades Cove. It's about 5 miles away from Spence Field, where Dennis went missing. They were visiting it the same day Dennis disappeared,
Okay.
but about 5 p.m., so roughly 2 hours after he'd disappeared. The Keys' son really wanted to see a bear. So as they were coming into the park, they asked a ranger, hey, where's a good spot to see a bear? Because in the 60s, people had no fear of animals. Americans were very arrogant.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
My boy wants to see a bear.
Yeah, here's the little
Get my
child.
boy a bear.
Where are they? Get my boy a bear.
You got a Yogi and a Boo Boo. And
Yeah.
my boy wants to see them both.
What's in the picnic basket? Oh, God, it's a young boy.
Oh, fuck.
They ask where they can see a bear, and the ranger points them to this place called Cades Cove, about 5 miles away. So the family gets out of their car, they're walking up this trail, and they said about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, when they heard what Mr. Key described as an enormous, sickening scream.
Oh, no.
They walked about 200 extra yards, and then Mr. Key's son says, Daddy, look, it's a bear. And Mr. Key looks up. He sees something moving upright through the trees,
Oh no.
and it passes on the ridgeline, and it's gone. This is the statement that he gives to the National Park Service about a day later, once he's heard that this kid is missing.
Okay.
I guess he didn't think anything of it at first. So, and then nothing comes of this for a while. That was the same day that this happened.
Sure.
So we're jumping ahead to June 24th. The FBI has shown up now.
Oh, here come the
Which-
feds.
Again, kind of unusual for search and rescue.
Very
They
intense.
show up when someone is taken.
Is it because it's an... oh, maybe not. I was like, because it's a national park, or is that federal?
Usually they would only
Jurisdiction?
jump in if it was like something going over interstate
State lines?
boundaries
Yeah.
or kidnappings of minors.
Yeah, I think they ask the FBI on like certain cases, right? If they don't have the what's the word? Not amenities, resources.
Yeah, so the FBI has shown up now, which is kind of leaning towards maybe they think he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Harold Key, the one who heard the scream and saw the upright figure, he offers to take the FBI and the park rangers to the exact spot where he saw it happen. He was going to say, I was right here, saw that right up there. They both declined. The FBI interviewed him about 20 miles away from the park, but they didn't let him go to the park. They didn't want that.
Just the 1,800 other people that are there.
Yeah, they can't have this guy who saw this thing
Yeah.
happen.
You're too much.
Mr. Martin hears about this. It comes out in the paper, parts of it anyway. He asks the National Park Service, say, why didn't you tell me about this? You guys knew about this. This report came in like a day after he disappeared. And the Park Service says, well, it's irrelevant. It's too far of a distance. The time frames just don't match up.
5 miles?
There's no trails connecting the two places. It is kind of rough terrain.
Okay.
But Mr. Martin had the same thought, and because he is a gangster, he went back and he walked from where Dennis disappeared to the area that the Keys had their sighting, and he did it in 90 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hour and a
Yeah.
half. Not bad.
So not impossible.
Yeah, not at all impossible. And despite them saying, this information is irrelevant, there were FOIA requests done long after this that showed that after Key had reported his sighting, they closed Cade's Cove for 3 days.
Whoa.
They weren't letting anyone into that area.
Those little bitches.
Why would they close that area if they said it was irrelevant?
Sneaky little bitches.
Sketchy.
Because they were cleaning something up.
Sneaky
they found
sneaks.
something and they were picking up every shred they could.
Ooh. Ooh.
Fucking G-Man.
So this is going on. You've
Fucking
got
G-Man.
Fucking
You've got-
suits.
the FBI conducting interviews with witnesses and telling them something doesn't matter, and then the Park Service is going down and closing off areas that they told people were irrelevant, and the whole time Army Special Forces are armed in the park on their own radio channels, conducting their operations mostly at night.
Typical.
I don't like it.
It's just like with aliens. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing to see here.
Right?
And for a while, that seemed to be it. The search and rescue starts to wind down after a few days. FBI and the Green Berets, they stay longer, but no trace of Dennis is ever found. There's no evidence of what could have happened to him.
Sad. Poor kid.
Unless you trust the psychics.
Do we?
I know, Michael's like, oh.
Not that either.
You've lost him.
And I'm like,
We're like intrigued. Say more.
As with all good tragedies where a distraught family is looking for any kind of answers, there will always be a psychic
yeah.
to tell you what happened.
At least one.
And it was no different. On July 17th, the Park Service received a letter from a guy named Harold Sherman. He was president of the ESP Research Associates, which is likely a business that was just him.
Well, title yourself importantly.
He wrote a long letter kind of describing feelings he was getting about where Dennis could have been. And I'm just going to read the last paragraph of this letter.
Okay.
I hesitate to write anymore, as my conscious mind is trying to reject such a feeling. All psychics talk like that. They just dig out.
Oh, I have a quick question. How much
Yes.
has he written before saying this?
6
It
pages.
was like a 2 or 3 page letter.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
hesitate to write more because you already think I'm crazy.
I have carpal tunnel
He's
now.
got the first page of credentials, his social media links on the next page. Then he gets to the meat of it.
Okay, sorry.
I hesitate to write anymore, as my conscious mind is trying to reject such a feeling. I see something red, and something being carried or dragged. Are there caves in the vicinity? A stream may even run through it, or part of it. I am always tormented when impressions come to my conscious mind, trying to tell me that they couldn't possibly be true. But I get a feeling of sudden panic on the part of Dennis. What happened to him occurred suddenly, unexpectedly, and he could not, or did not, cry out.
Eerie.
Nice and creepy.
Very creepy.
I like how he writes that he tries not to trust these instincts he has, but that's also his job.
Yeah.
He reluctantly does his job, Michael.
Yeah.
He wishes he didn't
I
have
try
to.
not to believe it, but also I always do.
This whole section was also preceded by like a paragraph about I think he called it a sex monster.
Uh-oh.
He had a sex monster theory
Oh.
that he was working on with his psychic powers, but then he got into
working
this.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Sex monster
Yeah, I just
theory.
see him at, Xavier's mansion using Cerebro.
Maybe do quit your day job, though.
Oh.
We'll linger on this sex monster thought for just a minute. Okay, let's get to the boy.
So did you read the whole letter?
I read the last part of it because I couldn't find the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
So I found, these couple paragraphs and then the sex monster stuff was before that. I didn't want to say it, but now here I am talking loudly
are.
about it. And that's kind of where it ended for a little bit until a paper called the Knoxville Journal ran a longer interview that they did with Harold Key in July 21st. And part of the interview is a longer statement from Key that is a little different from the first one that he gave.
And he's the one that was in the cave, or on his way to the cave.
He was,
He saw something.
Yeah, he was on their way. They were looking for a bear.
Yeah,
they
that's
heard
right.
the noise, saw the thing.
Yeah.
He gave the report. Then the FBI talked to him.
Yeah.
And now he has this other interview
Okay.
where he says, "We'd gone half a mile or so when we heard an awful scream that sounded like someone in trouble. There was a stream there. As we were going up to it, one of my boys said, 'Look, Daddy, there's a bear.' I looked. It wasn't a bear. It was a man. I didn't get a good look at him because he seemed to be trying to stay hidden behind bushes." And he describes the sound as just one long, loud, painful scream. But the original statement he describes seeing something like a bear.
Upright.
Something moving upright.
Yeah.
Why is he so certain it's human now?
Yeah.
Why would someone mistake a person for a bear? It's June. It's late spring, early summer. Unless the person was excessively hairy or wearing fur.
Robin Williams type.
Yeah,
hair.
Robin Williams type. And that bugged some people who read it, specifically Mr. Martin, who, again, didn't give up, even in September, when the search officially ended.
God, that's so sad.
His little boy.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Hello.
Hi.
And we're back. So
And we're back.
Wait, are we back?
And we're fighting over who gets to say it, too.
I was the first one back.
I don't even want to say it now.
I said it first, though. And we're back.
Oh my gosh, aggressive.
And we're back. So the search has officially ended.
Okay.
Mr. Martin ain't no quitter.
No.
Mr. Martin doesn't like the things he's heard. So Mr. Martin starts axing some questions.
Accent.
Yeah, he should.
And this is where I think one of the more shocking details is. So Mr. Martin tracks down the reporter who spoke to Harold Keyes, where he gave his sort of revised statement about what he saw.
Right.
It's a guy named Carson Brewer.
Okay.
And Carson says that the article wasn't exactly what they talked about. What Carson was saying was, when he was talking to Harold Keyes, the thing he described didn't move like a person. It didn't go over terrain like a person. Didn't sound like a person. But they decided it had to be a person because it was upright, and Keyes said it was carrying something over its shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
And Key originally thought it was like a bundle of red cloth.
Uh-oh.
No.
But after hearing about Dennis's disappearance, he had doubts about it. And when he asked Carson Brewer, why wasn't this in the article? Why this seems huge? And he just said no one would believe it. He said they would have thought it was a tabloid.
Because it just matches up too well and it's just too weird.
It's that sort of disbelief. Like it wouldn't be helpful in the search for this missing boy if people thought it's some kind of woods monster snatching up kids. They would have thought it was all just a crank thing, and maybe it could have hurt the search.
Kind of
So he left
it.
He left that all out. And then there wasn't a whole lot Mr. Martin could do anymore. The FBI had moved on, the Green Berets had left, and his son was still missing. He would go on to talk to other people, but there wasn't a whole lot else that came out for the next 40 years.
Wow.
So the book that is the primary source from this case is called Missing 411. It's by a guy named David Paulides. He's an ex-cop who he got into searching up missing persons in national parks when he was staying at a national park. And one of the rangers said to him, there's a lot more missing people in here than anyone seems to think. And so he started going over these stories. He found Dennis Martin's story, and it jumped out to him so much that he tried to find Mr. Martin if he was still alive and track him down.
Mm-hmm.
In August 2011, he finds him.
Okay.
Wow, he must be old.
Yeah, he was in his 80s at that point.
Wow.
But, he was in good shape for most of his life. He still kind of fit.
Oh, that's true. He was running around through the woods.
Paulides tracked him down by just going to the address that was on the original missing poster from 1969. The Martins had never moved. They never changed their phone number.
Wow.
They were staying there. And so Mr. Martin, despite saying, we've had to live with this disappearance for so long, what else can I do? He just asked for a minute of his time. So they come out and sit on the porch, and Paulides starts asking questions, and he asks about Key, Harold Key. And Mr. Martin said that he had contacted Mr. Key before he passed away, because Harold Key, I believe, died in 2008.
Okay.
And Key said that, there were things left out of the parts of his report that were made public and the parts of the articles that went to the press, as Mr. Martin, had discovered. Because after the scream, Key saw this dark, shaggy figure moving along the ridge carrying something on its shoulder, and none of that made it into the reports, none of that made it into the papers.
Which is huge. That's like a big detail if that happened.
The only one.
Yeah, and he seemed angry and distraught, and he felt like he had been lied to.
Yeah.
Or that the Park Service had been intentionally keeping things from him.
Mm-hmm. Rude.
Why hadn't he been notified right away about this sighting that they were later told was irrelevant? Or that the distances didn't match up when clearly they did because he did it? Why was the park closed down after that Key report that was also said it was irrelevant? Why were there so many different groups looking around and not communicating with one another? And he couldn't figure it out.
It's like they're gaslighting him.
I know. So cruel.
Everything's fine.
He made the statement that he was convinced that the superintendent of the park was what he called a mere figurehead. And that he thought directions were coming from somewhere up even higher. And David Paulides has run into a lot of stuff like this in a lot of these missing person cases in a lot of national parks. Why? This is tinfoil hat time.
Oh, snap.
We're putting it on.
He's donning the tinfoil
I
hat.
got it out.
This is how you know a conspiracy is absolutely real. Because I am taking the appropriate noisy precautions.
Love it.
I'm glad that you're doing that. I hope you know that this will be posted on the World Wide Web. So
Absolutely needs to. This is information people need to hear.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Well, Dennis Martin is not at all a unique case, it turns out. People out of sight for only a moment. Go around a corner, friends follow right after, they're gone. Just goes up the road a ways, falls out of sight, gone. Heavy rainfall soon after. Doesn't seem like it would be something you could control, but in a lot of these cases, heavy rainfall or serious inclement weather right after one of these disappearances.
weird.
Wait, so they make it rain?
In
Making it rain.
They're making it rain? Are they dancing?
in the cases where a body is eventually found, a lot of times it's some distance that could not have been traversed in that time. Like they'll find, say, a child goes missing here and they'll end up on the other side of like a river or ravine way up a mountain.
True.
A day or two later, somewhere they could have never made it on their own. And like in this case, when there's no sign of foul play or animal predation, like they found nothing in the scat when they were looking for Dennis Martin.
And if it was an animal, they would leave traces.
Yeah, you'd think.
You'd think.
Especially if they're looking all through their poop.
Yeah.
And they're clustered in all these national parks.
Makes me scared to go to a national park now.
Don't go on your own.
I would never.
People, they go, well, I guess it doesn't matter. This kid was with his family.
Out of sight for just a moment.
Do
Then
not
like that.
go behind a bush unaccounted for.
Keep my eye on Michael. He's going to disappear behind the monitor.
He likes to hide behind there. Little creeper.
He judges us from his lofty tower.
And with a lot of people going missing, you'd think the government would take that seriously, right?
You would
Like
hope.
there would be, we have the National Database of Missing Persons, which is voluntary in most states, so it's not super accurate. But the Department of the Interior, we know how many bears and wolves are in each park in each state, but they do not have any list of people who have gone missing in their parks. What? They at least claim they don't keep one. They don't have that information.
What?
That seems so wrong.
We
It
don't
does
keep
seem
one.
wrong. Current estimates people have put together is that there's about 1,600 currently missing in national parks.
Wow.
Crazy.
There were another 11 under really similar circumstances from Great Smoky National Park alone.
I wonder if a lot of them are children.
A lot of them are.
Yeah, okay.
Children, some of them are normal, fit people, older people, just someone who got away for a little bit. Someone who should have known how to survive in the wilderness is just out of sight and they're gone.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So, why wouldn't the Park Service keep track of any of this?
That is
Sketch.
weird. I am surprised by that.
That shouldn't be allowed.
It's surprising to a lot of people. David Paulides kind of made the point. He tried to do a FOIA request to get any records of missing people, and they came back saying it would be like $2.3 million if he wanted it.
Jesus.
Like, well, it's expensive, so.
Can't do it.
Sorry.
Well, do you know how much money comes from national parks?
How much?
Pat my tinfoil hat.
Millions.
Last figure I could find was 2019, and it was $41 billion.
Billions.
Billion with a buh.
Wait, why? Is there a fee to get into all of them?
Oh, for sure.
I can't remember. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
there's national park fees.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
for
right,
sure.
because sometimes they're free. Like,
And the
for a
fees aren't
day.
usually huge, but there's just so many
People that go.
victims. I mean, people going in to these national parks.
Wow. I didn't know that that's so much money.
It's a lot of money.
That's so much money. What?
Dang.
I'm okay. Blown away.
I mean, if the Department of Interior maybe knew the parks weren't as safe as people think, it might impact that bottom line. So I'm getting into full speculation, hence the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, this is speculation
To
time.
the top.
To the top.
Cui bono? Follow the money. Were you guys around for... No, that was a little earlier. Do you remember the spotted owl
Yes.
thing?
Yes. Like,
Maybe.
are you talking about aliens or are you talking about the endangered species?
Endangered species.
Yes. Okay, I
Wait.
remember that.
Yeah, in Oregon, at least, it was a big deal when an endangered spotted owl was discovered in the forest. Huge swaths of land were cut off from logging.
Yes.
A lot of people lost their jobs.
Yes.
A lot of people lost money
It was
over
a big deal.
over an endangered bird in a forest. A bird that doesn't steal children.
That
I
we
will-
know of.
I will posit that the National Park Service would have it in their best interest to keep quiet if they knew about a potentially dangerous to human and likely very endangered animal, upright hominid, and I don't know why I'm looking over at Michael for the big reveal.
The big reveal.
Am I one of them?
Oh, let me see your feet.
They're not that.
Okay.
No.
He does have really wide feet, though. They're like little boats.
They're like little boats, yeah.
He has little boats.
Yeah, let's talk about my feet. Let's get me on Wiki Feet.
No.
The question I would posit is, what if the government knew that there was something dangerous there, something endangered, that something, if it came to light, would either kind of ruin national parks entirely or cause such a destruction of, like, the timber industry and the outdoor industry,
Ooh.
so as to kind of shut down national parks as we know it. If there were a giant hominid that was dangerous to people living in the parks, what would that do?
Would they be known for the size of their feet?
Is it like the
Hopefully.
human plus bear equal Bigfoot?
I posit that the creature that took Dennis Martin and is the reason governments are so shady about all this national park flim-flammery is my friend's Bigfoot.
Big feet.
Bigfoot!
Big feet.
Silly Bigfoot.
I mean, we've been too terrified to even go near Bigfoot, so
This is true.
we're really
This-
excited that we're talking about this.
I have been working on it.
Thank you.
And if this doesn't get taken down by the government,
We'll see.
They're listening all the time.
I would like to do another Bigfoot episode. There's
so many.
this is one of the more concrete cases that I think makes a direct link to something like that. Because a lot of like really cool and interesting Bigfoot information is like one guy's podcast, or like an Angel Fire page. And I want to try and be as substantial with it as I can.
Anything with that kind of like large scale government involvement is always super fascinating.
And this case alone isn't even the only one with such like a disproportionate response. There's missing person cases where the search and rescue will go in, feds will just shut the whole thing down. It's over.
crazy.
Don't worry about it anymore.
It's a big feat.
And Mr. Martin ended up passing away, I believe, in 2018. Unfortunately, never knowing exactly what happened to his son.
Oh, deal.
God, I can't even imagine that.
Disappeared.
Life.
Sucks.
On
No
that
closure.
mountain in 1969, was never seen again. And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of people went out of their way to make sure no one's ever going to know what happened to Dennis Martin.
Damn.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dennis.
I mean, unless he's not dead.
Maybe he's living with them.
Yeah.
Maybe he's their pet.
Yeah, he just screamed like a blood-curdling scream because
True.
he was just kind of sad. He wasn't going to get to live with his family anymore.
We don't know if it was him screaming.
Try to make it less
live in the
depressing.
woods.
He was super excited about it. I mean, they didn't say if it was a boy scream.
True.
He just
Maybe
said
he
a
was
scream.
tickling him.
They didn't.
It's very ticklish.
One of the minor notes I did read in a newspaper article with a park ranger is he said at the distances Key described, a kid shouldn't have been able to yell that loud.
Yeah.
Unless he was dying.
I mean,
Unless,
True.
did
but
say
haven't
that.
you heard other Bigfoot stories where they do this like blood-curdling, hair-raising scream? Like that's one of the things they're known for, I
Yeah,
thought.
and then they carry away a totally silent and unterrified boy.
I feel like I've heard them, like, that's a characteristic, is like a scream.
Yeah, they do a whoop or something, right?
A whoop?
Matt, I think, is the resident expert, probably.
They do. I am not convinced, though, that all Bigfoot whoop sounds aren't just overweight Bigfoot researchers on the other side of the woods.
Sure.
And then they're
Yeah.
just kind of screaming back to each other.
Just as believable, honestly.
They see a Bigfoot and they're like, whoop!
You hear that? We got one.
Whoop, woo!
Damn it, that's just Rodney again.
Rodney. It would be a Rodney. Wow. I actually don't know that much about Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. I would love to learn more about him.
I do know, we know a girl who says that she's seen one.
Do we? Do I
Ooh,
know?
Details.
Well, maybe not seen one, but experienced one. It's a girl that we work with. And she said that she was camping. She's like really woodsy. It's Natasha. And she was out camping, and I guess they were like sleeping, and then she wasn't asleep, but she heard rustling and then like slow footsteps.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
And I think maybe they saw like the outline of something, like,
Oh my god, no.
and then nothing, and then it was gone. But like, it was really creepy. Her story was really creepy.
That's terrifying.
And she was like terrified telling it. You could tell she wasn't like making it up.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But I feel like if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you probably know someone with a Bigfoot story.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
Several.
they're all over the place around here.
Yeah.
I'm going to hijack your show for a moment. Email them with your cool Bigfoot stories.
Yes. Aw, thank you.
And I'll have them forward them to me, and then maybe they'll let me do a Bigfoot episode.
Oh,
Yes.
That'd be
yeah.
sweet.
And that's anxious and afraid the pod at gmail.com.
Yes.
Email us your stories.
But isn't there like another characteristic of Bigfoot? Like he's just kind of like the curious guy behind the tree, and he's supposed to be like gentle and curious. Or I know there's also reports of them being like violent, but
Yeah, I feel
Isn't
like
there
there's
both?
different schools of thought on it, right?
yeah.
I mean, tigers are pretty cute, but,
True.
you know, don't want to run into one in the wild.
True.
I guess.
I guess. I was just hoping you'd say I could chill with one, but
Depends on how hungry they are, if they're curious or not, probably.
They're dangerous predators. Don't go near one. Stay out of your local national park.
definitely. Well, I guess we'll have you back for more Bigfoot stories.
Yes.
We would love that.
So intrigued.
Dig it.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
That was great.
Yeah,
That was really
absolutely.
interesting.
Thanks for humoring me.
Of course. So fun.
My rampant speculation at the end.
Yes. Thank you for bringing your tin hat. Maybe we'll make one next time.
Yeah. I
That
feel a little
seems-
left out.
I know. It seems like a good idea. We haven't been doing that at all.
It's very uncomfortable.
I was about to ask you, is your head cooking?
You know, it's just kind of like cutting into my forehead right at the edge.
Yeah, I can see the blood dripping down your face.
The craftsmanship was subpar, but it's effective.
Nothing getting through. I don't think... Do you have anything else? Oh, well, wait. We do have City of the Week. Matt, we need a song for City of the Week.
Can you do a jingle?
Make us a jingle for City of the Week.
City of the week.
Perfect.
Look out now.
I was adding to it. Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have like a whole theme song, like a sitcom show.
Yeah.
Draw
We
it
need
out
a
for 2
jingle. Every week we like
We'll
sing
probably never get a
something
jingle.
really awkward. You can cook something up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
City of the Week. So this week it's Eugene. Yay!
Ew.
And then as usual, if Eugene isn't first, we have a close second, and it's Erfurt, Germany.
Erfurt.
Sorry if I said that wrong. Erfurt,
Oh. Germany.
Germany.
How cool. That's cool.
Hey guys, thanks for listening.
Ew.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, well I had to do social needs.
Oh,
last
you
time,
want me to do
so
social
now you
needs?
have to do it.
Okay. Okay. So we are on Instagram and Facebook, and our Gmail is at Anxious and Afraid, the pod. We have our website at anxiousandafraid.com. You can also find like our Patreon there and the show notes and our merch and all of that good stuff. Twitter at oh my gosh, I can't talk. At AA the pod. So do all the things, rate and subscribe, tell your friends to listen to us, and that's it.
Yeah, especially if you live in Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Tell your German friends. Well, you're the guest, so you get to sign off. Do you remember what you have to say?
Oh.
No, I don't.
It's good up and good night, but you can just spice it up.
Abby
however you
has
feel.
like this really attachment to this thing.
How we sign off. Shauna likes to be pretend.
We have a pretend fight over it.
She's trying to be a rebel, and I'm sick of it.
All right. If this is the sign off, then I bid you all good ep and good night. Sources for this episode include Missing 411 by David Paulides and Death in the Great Smoky Mountains, Stories of Accidents and Foolhardiness in the Most Popular Park by Michael Bradley. Music by Broke for Free, edited by Michael.
Anxious and Afraid is partnered with the Oracle Network.